Brilliant to see so many people today. Really appreciate you giving up your time. This is actually our 11th community of practice, which is really cool. We've been going for about 2 years now, and for those that are new, this is part of a bigger initiative called Western Sydney Moving, where we're trying to reduce inactivity and inequalities through a whole of systems approach. So the community of practice, though, is really an opportunity to share, learn and collaborate and really strengthen relationships, which I've been thinking a lot about recently, relationships and how important they are in terms of the work that we do. But before we get into it, I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on where I live, which is the Gadigal people of the Aurora Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples on the line today. So the format of these sessions is we usually have a guest speaker, and we've got a wonderful organisation today called Reclink, who do some really important work in the community supporting disadvantaged groups. But I won't talk about that anymore because I'll leave it to Anthony Newman and Roman Abasy, who'll talk in a second. But I just wanted to provide a little bit of an update, if I can, on Western Sydney Moving. So some of you will already know this, but for those that are new, it was an initiative of collective leisure, but it's much bigger than that. So at the moment, we're transitioning to a health promotion charity and going through that with ASIC. So that's very exciting. And we will be launching the health promotion charity at Combank Stadium on the 21st of November for our second symposium, and yeah, we'll be launching the board and yeah, that's very exciting for us all. I just wanted to, I suppose, reaffirm that Western Sydney Moving isn't about delivering any projects on the ground. That's where, like, you guys come in. It's about working on the system. So we'll be really looking to lead, support, connect, like today, a Western Sydney system to improve population health and creating the conditions to reduce inactivity and inequalities. We all do great work in our communities, but as we know, there's some stubborn inequalities out there, and inactivity is not really shifting. So if we can work on the system across academia, disability, education, non-for-profit, social enterprise, government, all these different sectors which you all are a part of, so that's what we're looking to do. So yeah, that's a little bit from me. We have launched the Humanitics for tickets for the symposium, and there's an early bird at the moment option, and we're putting the program together, so we'll send that around with the minutes anyway. But I'll pause there, and Anthony, do you want to see if you can share your presentation for me?
Yes, absolutely. Just one moment, please.
After Anthony's and Roman's had a bit of a chat with us, there'll be an opportunity to ask some questions, which I really encourage. And then the last part of the session is really just an open floor for anybody to share anything that's relevant. It might be projects, or if they've just got something on their mind that they're thinking about. This is a really safe space, and it's about collaboration and kind of working together. So yeah.
Thank you, David. Are you happy for me to share now?
Yes, please.
Yep. Okay, lovely. My name is be speaking today with my colleague Roman Abasy, and we're going to be telling you all a little bit about who is Reclink and what we do. There's a lot of familiar names that I've already recognized throughout the chat, and it's lovely to see you all and to be able to talk in front of you all today, and also a lot of new names that I really hope to become more familiar with over time. Before we crack into it, I would just like to do an acknowledgement of country. In the spirit of reconciliation, Reclink acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. I myself, I'm currently working off of Durragland in Western Sydney, home of the great warrior Pemulwuy. That's me. So I'll give you a little bit of a rundown about myself. I'm the Senior Sport Coordinator for Sydney. I'm passionate about community sport and enabling others to achieve their intrinsic and extrinsic goals through holistic health. I have experience in professional boxing as both a coach and an athlete, and that's sort of how I got into the community sport realm. I was working in Blacktown at the time, and I noticed that a lot of the participants were suffering with drug and alcohol abuse, or they were suffering socioeconomically and they couldn't afford the classes. So with my experience as a coach, I would run classes that were completely for free that would allow people to come down and participate in boxing and learn at a professional level completely for free. So I've had 10 years experience in the health, sport and recreation industry. And through that, I found myself in Reclink. And my role directly involves coordinating the team on the ground across Sydney. And I also facilitate my own pocket of programs across Southwestern and Western Sydney. From here, I'd like to pass on to my colleague Roman Abasy to talk a little bit about himself.
Thank you, Anthony. Good morning, everyone. I'm Roman Abasy, the sport coordinator at Reclink Australia in Western Sydney. I would like to thank you, David, you all, for inviting me to speak today. Before I begin discussing myself and Reclink Australia, I would like to apologize for any language errors in English, because English is not my first, second, third, fourth, it's my fifth language. And for that, maybe there was some problems with English language. I just started English language 1 year ago when I came to Australia. I was member of Afghanistan national taekwondo team, and I participate more than 30 international championships. I had 5 international medals, and also I was human rights defender in Afghanistan. And I had a charity foundation, and I work for women and girls in Afghanistan. When the Taliban came to Afghanistan, they treat me and my family, and I tried to escape from Afghanistan. On that time, the International Olympic Committee contacted me, and also the Australian Olympic Committee. They sponsor me and my family to come to Australia. And during that time, when the Taliban came to Afghanistan and they look at for me and my family, we were hiding in a place and for 6 months. And after that, we crossed the border from Afghanistan to Pakistan, and we stayed in Pakistan for 6 months, for 4 months. After that, we came to Australia. And also, I came to Australia at the end of June. At the end of 2022, yes, it has been like more than 1 year and few months that I came to Australia. When I came to Australia, everything was different for me, especially the big issue for me was the English language, because when I came to Australia on that time, I had an interpreter. When I had a meeting with government agencies, when I had a doctor appointment, I called my interpreter, and they connect me with everything issue I had. They translate that for me, and after that I realized that I must learn English during this time, and I start to join TAFE course. And when I went there at the first few weeks, I realized that TAFE's not made for me, because I was too hurry. I want to make my career. I want to start. I had a big dreams. I want to achieve my dreams. For that, I start English in my house with my wife. And the first thing we did, we deactivate our social media accounts and just start English, listening English, walking English, dreaming English, reading English. Everything was English. And now it's good that I can speak a little bit, and also I can understand the English language. And last year at June 2022, I joined Reclink, and we will talk about it's almost 1 year that I joined Reclink. We will talk about the programs that we did during these times after this slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roman. Thank you for sharing your story with everyone as well. I think that's incredibly important. And I just want to note that if anyone is interested, you can Google Roman Abasy and his story will appear online. There's been various news articles written about him and the heroics of his family. So if that's something you want to do in your spare time, I certainly recommend it. Moving on. About Reclink. Why we exist. Our programs provide moments of joy, human connection, opportunity, and a sense of purpose for participants. So for those who don't know about Reclink or haven't heard about it, we're a not-for-profit charity. We operate Australia-wide. We offer free sport and recreation activities to disengaged members of the community and those who might need it most. How we achieve this? We nurture meaningful and fruitful partnerships. We curate a national network of social service agencies, which are our members, and connect them to our values-aligned partners in the sport and recreation industry, which includes government, the corporate sector, as well as other supporters. Our impact. Through our partnerships and programs, our participants will achieve a better physical health, better mental health, and greater social inclusion. It's all really about the holistic values of what sport can provide. So sport is essentially the vehicle for improving your holistic health. This is incredibly interesting to me if you're a numbers person. This is our national impact and reach. And what's fascinating to me is how basketball is currently the fastest growing sport in the world. So if you look at the statistics here, I'll read them out. So nationally, we have 163,889 participations. We average 13,657 participations per month. 48% of these participants are male, 52% are female. So we're incredibly happy with that divide we have there. That's excellent. We have 10,203 sessions per year. We average 850 per month. And here we have some percentages, which will give you an idea of the All Abilities access that we have. So there's 6% of participants with a disability, 27% are culturally and linguistically diverse, 30% are in the youth category, and 3% are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander. We've broken down the sports into different categories for you all to see. And what I want to note is obviously most popular basketball, then moving into soccer, followed by fitness. 4 is multisport. 5 is football. Now, when we say football, that would just mean AFL or rugby categories, OzTag included. Our most popular activities for new participants are actually soccer, followed by multisport, followed by spike ball, which is a very interesting game. If you haven't heard about it, I'm happy to explain at the end. Basketball, and then general fitness. So basketball seems to have this trend of, if you're already involved with basketball, it's popular to you. But if basketball's a new sport to you, there might be a little bit of barrier for entry there. Most popular activities under 25. So for our youth, basketball, followed by multi-sport. So multi-sport is just a diverse array of sports that change weekly. Netball, soccer, and then spike ball again. Most popular activities for participants who have a disability are 10-pin bowling, fitness, basketball, lawn bowls, and dance. Bowling is incredibly popular. Most popular activities for participants from the cold community are basketball, soccer, netball, fitness, and multi-sport, which really don't deter from the most popular activities overall. It's just in a slightly different order. This is our footprint in Sydney. So this will show you our active LGAs as well as supporting LGAs. We work across all of Sydney, and you're meeting half the team today. We're quite a small team. We average 3,500 participants per week. We deliver over 25 sport and recreation programs per week across Sydney, and we deliver in 20 council-operated parks, ovals, community centres, and as well as different sports facilities each week. So if everyone would like to take a quick look at the graph there, that will indicate the areas that we're currently active as well as supporting. I'll leave a little bit of time for that before I move on. I'd now like to pass to my colleague Roman Abasy to talk about one of the programs that he has running in Western Sydney.
Thanks, Anthony. Actually, we're running a large number of sport and recreation activities in Western Sydney. These are the two programs that we want to talk about this today. The first one is football program, and the second one is martial arts program. The football program, this program is funded by Movember. Movember is a charity foundation that focus on men's health issues, and also this program is just create for males over 18, over 16 years old, and also this program helps men dealing with gambling and mental health issues. For the past 10 week, for this program is created just for 10 week. Just we invite all participants from different cultures, from different communities, and we play football with each other. And it's not just about playing football. It's also about helping each other through this tough times like gambling and mental health struggles. And also different group, different agencies help us to success this program like STARS, SSI, local football teams, and also multicultural communities. And I want to say that last term we ran also the same program, and it was amazing because we had 150 participants each week, and that participants, they were from different countries, different cultures, and also I want to say that it's not just a football, it's about supporting each other when things getting hard. Could you please change, Anthony, the next one for martial arts? Also, our martial arts program also funded through Movember, and also with collaboration with Parramatta Council. This program's also designed for men dealing with gambling harm and mental health issues, and also it's open for males age 16 and over, and also various agencies are involved, including START, SSI, Parramatta Council, and multicultural communities in these programs. Last time we had 30 participants, and they joined that program for 8 weeks. And this is just the example of programs that we are running in Western Sydney. Actually, we're running like more than 40 or maybe 35 programs in Western Sydney that we're talking about that on the next slides. Thanks.
Thank you, Roman. I'll now be talking a little bit about a few of the programs that we also run in Western Sydney. This is an exciting program to me. So as we talk about Reclink, yes, we are a sport and recreation charity. So when I think of sport and recreation, that is actually an extremely broad field. And I feel that health is a lot more holistic than that. So we try to offer alternative programs for people that might not be interested in sport, because we understand it's not everyone's cup of tea, but we still need to get outside in the sun, and we need to get moving. So our Garden and Art Club at Auburn is fantastic. It's partnered with Cumberland Council as well as Movember. This program is promoted through an array of groups such as SSI and STARTS, as well as local mental health agencies and seniors groups in the area. Our Garden and Art Club aims to introduce participants to a diverse range of mixed media art, which is facilitated through the CATS group. So the CATS just stands for Cumberland Artists Together. So it's in Auburn, it's in Cumberland Council, it's a little name, it's been created. Participants of all art skill levels are welcome to the club and are warmly encouraged by an experienced art therapist. So this is an extremely important part of the process, in my opinion. The sessions offer the chance for complete artistic expression and have a focus on mindfulness and light discussion around the therapeutic benefits of art. Now, this is where I think it gets super cool. This is a program with multiple scopes. So there's also an introduction to gardening, which is on offer. From start to harvest, volunteers are welcome and encouraged to work. We have freestanding garden beds, which are located in the garden, which everyone's welcome and encouraged to use. So from start to harvest, you can work on your own little plant or your own little seedling, whatever you want to do. And volunteers are also welcome to take home the fruits of their labor to use in their own cooking. So we try and have a very multicultural garden with different plants and herbs from all over the world. We meet every Wednesday. So we meet every Wednesday between 11 and 1 p.m. and the program runs in 10-week blocks. With this program, it's an all ages, all ability, which focuses on those facing social isolation or struggling with their mental health, or also struggling with gambling addiction. I wanted to show you all a few pictures that we do. So we actually get up to quite a lot. And one of my favorite is the neurographic art. So neurographic art is quite a new concept. I believe it was developed 10 years ago. It's supposed to be a meditative and intuitive artistic process that links the unconscious and conscious mind using your neurons. So essentially, it can actually connect new neurons in your brain, which I think is fascinating. Moving on, we've got native floral arrangement, iris folding workshops, slow stitch workshops, earring design, as well as book sculptures. There's so much more that goes on in the Garden and Art Club. So that's honestly a program I can't preach highly enough about. It's amazing. I wanted to talk about another program that we have going on. It's our multicultural tennis that runs at Fairfield. This is partnered through the Australian Tennis Foundation, and it has the aim of supporting new arrivals as they build new social and community connections. So again, Reclink is very much about community sport. It's not about elite sport. It's not an elite sport pathway. It's more just a social vehicle for people to get together, have fun, enjoy life. The agencies involved in this program include SSI, the Fairfield Council, and is promoted through groups such as the Western Sydney Migrant Resource Centre, TAFEs and colleges, as well as diverse community groups. This program is targeted for new arrivals, youth 15 to 24, with a focus on women and girls. Participants are from all over the world, but predominantly are from Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Lebanon. And they've been in Australia for less than 18 months. Again, so this is pretty standard with a lot of our programs. They run through the term. So it runs in a 10-week block and uses tennis with a social focus. We bring a big speaker, there's music, it's a lot of fun, and participants learn the basics of tennis, and there's a social connection at the end where we all have a chat and catch up. I'd now like to pass to my colleague Roman, talk a little bit about Reclink Connect.
Thanks, Anthony. So Reclink Connect is this is an online platform where you can join sport activities for free using Zoom applications, and we update the schedule every week. So there's always something different going on from Monday to Friday. You don't even need to need a camera or microphone to join in, and everyone is welcome. We have a professional coach leading the sessions, covering activities like Tai Chi, yoga, and dance fitness. And if anyone interested, just drop them an email at reclink.connect@reclink.org, and they will send you the Zoom links.
Thank you very much, Roman. And I just want to point out to everyone that this is for free. So Reclink Connect is completely for free. You could connect for example, your local gym, local hospital, even your local community centre. So there's a lot of different arrays that you can actually connect through here. So for example, I spent 2 to 3 years in rural Australia, and when I was living in rural Australia, there weren't a lot of opportunities for people to, I think I just wanted to point out, completely for free, you can access wherever you might be. I was living in rural Australia. There weren't a lot of opportunities for people to engage in sport. Especially, community sport. Sometimes your local football field might be 1 hour down the road. So Reclink Connect is a great vehicle for people to engage with others as well. So there's the community aspect of this. We all have a little chat at the end to engage with others virtually. This was a massive thing during COVID. So any unforeseen circumstance, this is a great tool. Club Reclink. I don't know where my little picture went, but that's okay. That's our new program management portal. So think of it like an online portal. It's basically where you can see every activity that's being offered across the nation. So it's quite a simple tool to use. So you just type in your postcode. It will then have a radius of how far you're willing to travel. Every activity within that radius will then appear. Joining Club Reclink is like joining your local sports team. So essentially what happens is we develop a roll call the role is taken at the end of the class, which logs participation and can support caseworkers and wellness agencies in the sense of we can identify to them if their client or their participants actually showing up to the event or not. So there's a lot of different ways that Club Reclink is extremely useful for the betterness of the community. It's also a great way to stay connected with others and see what sports are on offer. I'd like to pass to Roman, talk a little bit about some of the events and activities we have going on in Western Sydney.
Thanks, Anthony. As I mentioned before, that we have a large number of sports that and recreation activities that happening in Western Sydney, and our programs create for 10 weeks. Most of the programs start with school term and finish with the school term as well. And our ongoing program start on May up to July. You can see that from Monday to Friday, there's a large number of sport and recreation activities, starting from martial arts and also dance, fitness, Zumba, tennis program, gardening, yoga, and there's maybe 4, 6 or 7 dance fitness programs we have. That's all happening in Western Sydney, and all the programs free for everyone. And we have a large number of participants as well in these programs. And if you're interested to join these programs, just there's a link as well for more information and details. Visit. There's a portal by name of Reclink Public Portal. If you just write Reclink Public Portal, you will find all the programs. And thanks.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Roman. Yeah, so the Reclink Public Portal is certainly a fantastic thing to check out in your spare time. So you could even use that as a reference point for your colleagues across Australia. So say if you had a colleague that's working in Melbourne, or if you had a colleague that's working in Brisbane, there are activities going on in those areas as well. We've also had some activities that are running in some more rural parts of Australia. There are talks of Alice Springs going up soon as well, which is extremely exciting. Here are our contact details here, if anyone would like a brief moment us after this. Just leave that up for a second. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for allowing Roman and I to be able to speak. And yeah, thank you for sharing your morning with us, and we'd be happy to take any questions from now.
Thanks, Anthony and Roman. That was absolutely terrific. And yeah, congratulations on all the work that you're doing. And Roman, particularly for showing vulnerability regarding your story. And we're so lucky to have you in Western Sydney. So yeah, thanks for all the work that you both do. I'm going to jump in first, if that's all right. I just want to ask you, and then we'll put it. We'll let anybody else jump in. If there was one ask from this network, how could we help you?
That's a fantastic question.
You can have a think about it if you want.
Yeah. Can I take that in? Sorry, I do like a ponder. Roman, did you have an answer to that?
At first, thanks, David. Thanks for encouraging me from the beginning. I think it's almost few months that you're also supporting me, like in social media, and also we had a meeting. And the only thing that we need from everyone that support our programs, still we are looking for participants, especially those participants that they're facing with problems like gambling or mental health issues. And we are happy to invite everyone in our programs. And if Anthony, you have anything, just share with them. Thanks.
Okay. I had a little bit of a ponder in the background there, David, and this is quite a personal thing for me, but I have quite a concern when it comes to the cold community and swimming in Australia. We have quite a severe degree of difficulty accessing public pools on account of the swim coach shortage. And I think that's something that the Western Sydney community as a whole really needs to look into and needs to look into urgently, because every other day I feel like, particularly in the summertime, I read an article and a young person has gone out to swim and unfortunately and extremely regrettably, they've drowned and left their family devastated. So I think that's something that really needs to be looked into. Access to public pools and more swim programs across Australia, not just Sydney, but since we're in Sydney, I think that would be the focus. Thank you. That's probably one of the key points that I've noticed in this industry that I think we could all do better on. And it's no one's fault. It's just a massive shortage of swim coaches, and I think we need to fix that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool, Anthony. We might circle back to that if we've got a little bit of time at the end. But yeah, there's a lot of high proportion of drownings from multicultural communities, that's for sure. So we've got a few people got their hands up. So I'm going to go to Kelly, then Scott, and then Caroline. But over to you, Kelly, first.
Words can't express how excited I am, and so thrilled that I've been on this meeting today. The work you guys are doing and the organisation is simply amazing. Roman, thank you for sharing your story. Actually heard a similar story of a track athlete this week from Afghanistan from one of my colleagues, and he's currently coaching her. So I'm wondering if there might be a way that potentially she could be involved with what you're doing as well. It might be a good connection, because I know that she trains and lives out in Western Sydney. I've sent you a note, Anthony. I would really love to meet up with you guys. A lot of the work that we do at UTS, I know we're based in the city, but a lot of our students are from Western Sydney, and after this call I would really like to get in touch with you both. But really wanted to express how thankful I am for listening. And I just got an idea about your drownings. I'm heavily involved in surf, or not drownings, but water safety. I'm heavily involved in surf life saving in the eastern suburbs with the biggest surf life saving club and nippers in the country. I'm wondering if there might be an opportunity to do a collaboration between potentially our club and water safety, and teaching water skills out at the new Western Sydney beach. I know some of our patrolling members actually went out to the Western Sydney beach when it first opened, and our patrolling members often volunteer at organisations where water safety and awareness is required. So it might be another avenue outside of my day-to-day work, but in my volunteer life, that I could assist on in terms of water safety. And you know, the drownings did occur at the Western Sydney beach as well. So I think there's a lot of crossover we could do there.
Absolutely. I think that breaks down on a few levels. Sorry, to answer your question about was it the Afghani woman, the track athlete? Yeah. I'd be happy to talk a little bit about that more offline. That would be fantastic. I also love the idea about collaboration. We do have a colleague that works across the city of Sydney, as well as he sort of wraps down into the Kemba Bankstown area. Unfortunately, he's not with us today, but I'd love to make that connection as well.
Fabulous. We go all the way out your way to Western Sydney. So we've currently got programs in Southwestern, but we really would love to be somehow working together if we could, because what you're doing is so invaluable, and we've got manpower. I suppose we can't bring you the clients that you need, but we've got manpower.
Thanks, Kelly. And the
Thanks,
intention
Kelly.
of this is that you guys collaborate and connect, you know, after this. So that's what this is all about. It's about illuminating what's happening and building those relationships. So maybe you can progress that conversation offline. So just in the essence of time, just going to keep things moving. So over to you, Scott Walters.
Yeah, thanks, David. And thanks, Roman and Anthony. What a fantastic service for our community. It was really refreshing and really uplifting to see the services that you provide. I'm from the Western Sydney Primary Health Network, and we commission a number of services to primary care providers, general practices, etc., through our networks and associations in the region. From my understanding, it seems like the criteria, and I don't know how strict they are around access to these services, is around the cold community, those who experience issues with gambling and mental health. And really happy to chat with you offline. I'd love to connect afterwards. But if there are criteria around this, I think there's opportunities for us here at Went West to build it into some of our service directories that are open to our GPs and to certain areas. And if there's capacity, I think there'd be it'd be a great way to be able to direct people to services that are beyond traditional medical methods, and definitely looking at, social prescribing and how that fits into the broader work that we do. So I'd love to chat with you both offline and potentially build in some of the links to Reclink into our services here.
Yeah, that would be incredible, because I always find that GPs are the first point of reference for people that are suffering. So I'd love to have that conversation. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. And over to Caroline Allen.
Thanks, David. I'm from, hi, Anthony and Roman. Thank you so much for your program. Fascinated to hear what you're doing. I'm based in Blacktown, Australian Catholic University, and we do have exercise science students, as I know a number of other people in this group do. They're based at Blacktown Sports Park.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you're aware of BEST.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very aware. I grew up in Blacktown.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, our exercise science students are located there, but I was more interested in, firstly, question was, who do you have running your programs? Do you have volunteers? And also in terms of your connections in Blacktown, do you work with, say, Syd West Multicultural Services and Afghan Women on the Move, who I know are running some local swimming lessons for women? But yeah, there'd be some interesting connections, possibly certainly around the your clients and also for the swimming lessons. I know it's about 3 questions there. So.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fantastic. Sorry, can we go back to question 1? I got a little bit lost in that.
Okay, question 1 was,
yep.
Who do you have running all those programs? Do you have volunteers, yep. Or is it the 2 of you, or a mixture of staff?
Yeah, it's a mixture. So it breaks down onto a few different levels. So Roman and myself, we facilitate. So Roman's background is in Taekwondo. My background's in boxing. So, for example, we have a lot of martial arts programs across Western Sydney, which Roman and I both facilitate ourselves. We've also got a number of programs that we do have background in with sport that we facilitate ourselves, but we also bring in professional coaches. So, for example, Roman and I are both not dancers. We don't run the dance fitness class. We're not tennis players. We bring down professional coaches for that. But Roman, because it's about that social connection and the mental well-being. So we're almost, I explain it like we're community workers, social workers, but just in disguise.
Excellent. And yeah, my next question was around connections in Blacktown. I just wondered if you're already connected. I think you mentioned CMRC, or one of the migrant resource centres. The big one in Blacktown, obviously, is Syd West.
Yes.
Yes. And also Afghan Women on the Move. I was just wondered if you had any connections with them.
I'll have to pass that over to Roman. He works in the Blacktown LGA.
Yeah. Actually, we have some connection with, especially with Afghan on the Move women's organization. Also, we are looking to find new organizations, new collaboration, because we have like 5 programs on Blacktown, and still we are looking to had more programs on Blacktown, and still we are looking for connection. If we find, or if you help us for finding more connection, that will be great.
All right, excellent. Well, I'm the community engagement officer at ACU in Blacktown, so I'm connected to a lot of local organisations. So definitely would love to chat further, and I'll send you an email. So thank you.
Yeah, please do. That would be fantastic.
Thanks.
I'm on mute. Thanks, Caroline. And over to Michael Fasher, who was very memorable from the symposium. Michael, I did enjoy your speech, your impromptu speech there. So how are you doing?
You're very kind. Thank you very much. And thank you both to our guests for the window into your work. Like Scott Walters, I'm working with Wentwest, the Western Sydney Primary Health Network. Very grateful for the work that David is facilitating here in building this network, and looking forward to the fruition of the conversations you're going to both have with Scott. I just was triggered by Roman's telling us how the Olympic Committee assisted in getting him to Australia. And I have a daughter-in-law who's involved in the refugee Olympic team. So the refugee Olympic team for Paris is going to be announced at 9 o'clock Sydney time today. Just wanted to let everybody know that.
Oh, that's good.
That's thrilling news. Yeah, that's news to me. Thank you for sharing, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Did you want to share anything there, Roman?
Sorry, Anthony, what was the exact question about that?
That's okay. He was just providing information. That's all, and acknowledging the work. So
Oh yeah,
so
I understand that one. Yeah.
yeah. So we'll keep moving. And I'll go over to Elisa.
Thanks, David. Sorry, I was on mute there. And thanks, Anthony and Roman, for your presentation. It's really nice to hear about this work. I am from the Centre for Population Health, which is part of the Ministry of Health, the New South Wales Ministry of Health. And I'm in the Priority Populations team, specifically focused on older adults. And we really have a mission to get older adults moving and eating healthily and trying to embed the resources that we have based around that in community organisations like yours, especially within communities of people who have English as a second language or are culturally and linguistically diverse. So first of all, I will send you an email after this, just because I think we have a bunch of resources that might be really useful with specifically with your, was it Reclink Connect, the online program? Because we have a lot of online resources. I don't know if there's a lot of older adults that are within that program, but it's something that you could easily link people into and share with those participants if they were older. So I will send that to you in an email. And I've got a question about just first of all, like, do you have a lot of older adults, or is your demographic more young?
You know, I'm so thrilled you've actually asked me that question. I have a really soft spot for this. So when I was living in rural Australia, the median age of the suburb I was living in was 64. And it was really thrilling to me to actually see the senior cohort getting out. So down there, they're extremely active. In Sydney, that is not so much the case. So we do offer programs for older participants, and Reclink Connect, in my experience, I would say has a median age of between 50 to 60.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but I have seen older participants on there, like in their 80s and 90s. So we have some programs that are extremely accessible. So we have chair yoga on Reclink Connect, for example, Tai Chi, very gentle movement-based exercises for all abilities and all ages.
Okay. Well, I'll send you an email because it's too much of an in-depth discussion for this meeting, but I would like to maybe hear your thoughts about how you make your programs like more accessible for older adults, especially in like for participants that aren't maybe so comfortable speaking English or things like that. And also we have a directory on our website where you might like to post your programs as a way to promote them to older adults if you're interested in getting more adult adults. So I'll share a link to that. And yeah, I just also just wanted to say to the group, I can put my email address if anyone's interested in the chat. If any of you are interested to hear more about our offerings for older adults, happy to share with anyone. And thank you for your presentation. It was great.
Thank you very much. I just want to flag off the back of that, if anyone has any interest for older adults, we have a walking basketball program that will be starting in the coming weeks based in Parramatta. So that's something exciting that I just wanted to bring up as well. We don't have all day to talk to you about all of our programs, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Elisa. Thanks, Anthony. And Indy Rose, over to you.
Can everyone see me? Oh no. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll try and fix this.
We can hear you though.
Yes,
yeah, we can
okay.
hear you.
Perhaps that's enough. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. Similarly to a couple of other people that have spoken before, I work at an educational institution. So I work for the Australian College of Physical Education, and we're located in Sydney Olympic Park. I'm the careers advisor, and just hearing about your programs, I think that there could be a really nice synergy between our work integrated learning program, where students are required to complete placement as it's unpaid placement as well. So it could work out really well as extra pair of hands if you need them. So the subjects kind of focus on like health promotion and promoting physical activity. So I think that it could work quite nicely, and that promoting physical activity subject is coming up in September. So yeah, I'd
Great.
love to connect and perhaps have a chat and see if it might be of mutual benefit.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Please
Awesome.
reach out. We do have volunteer opportunities, and we've signed off on work experience hours before. So it's
Amazing. Perfect.
certainly something we can help with. Yep, we'd be happy
Wonderful.
to.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Indy. Appreciate that. Has anybody else questions, or I'd also like to just open it up as well in terms of anything on your mind at the moment in terms of inactivity, inequalities, opportunities in Western Sydney. Hazel.
Hi, well, similar to the last speaker, I'm from University of Western Sydney. I'm involved with coordinating the sport development course. We've also got sport management students. So I think in terms of placements and also work experience, that'd be great to be in touch.
Certainly, please reach out.
Okay, so Western Sydney. So
Yep.
It seems like you might have a few volunteers and work experience from the different unis and colleges. Thanks.
There's a lot of different sports and activities to engage with, so there'll be something for everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I might just, Laurie.
David, just quickly, gentlemen, why do you think basketball is on such a rise?
Michael, thank you for that question, because I think about that often. I personally, obviously background in boxing, and then growing up, I was a football player, or soccer for the Australians in the room. And I think when we look at soccer, this is how I compare it. When we look at soccer, you need one ball per community. So wherever you are in the world, you only need one ball and then maybe a couple of sticks in the ground, and then you have a soccer match going. Basketball is synonymous in that view, where you need one ball and something to put as a hoop, and then you have a game going. So it's really easy to get started no matter where you are in the world. And I try and look at this as a very international thing, because when I look at the statistics, basketball is growing rapidly internationally. And just as a fun fact for everyone here, per capita, Australia spends the most money on NBA merchandise than anywhere else in the world. So I do find that interesting. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I think it's because it's the accessibility of the sport. So whereas when I look at something like boxing, you've got to worry about the damage to your body, the damage to your brain. You have to buy all the gear, all the equipment. You need to pay for membership, which for basketball is not the case. You could very easily get a ball, grab some friends, go down the road. If there's no hoop, you can set up a makeshift hoop and play for yourself. So I think that's a big part of it personally.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very interesting. And over to Laurie.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everyone. And guys, well done on everything you're doing. I think what I just wanted to do is challenge a little bit of that fast-growing sport. There is I suppose, another area that's on a fast rise, but the data's not there, and that's certainly mountain biking. And I was just going to put in the chat to everyone, I'd love to be able to showcase what you guys are doing in that community, because that's on a huge trajectory, but what they're not doing well is what you're doing. They're not going into the disadvantaged communities and really showcasing that as an accessible opportunity to be active. And we're hosting the very first mountain biking symposium in Australia in October, and the EOIs are open now, so I'd love you to sort of submit something to say, this is what we've been doing. You can pretty much do the same in this space, and I think that would be a great opportunity for Western Sydney particularly as well.
I think that'd be a fantastic idea, because there's a lot of places within Sydney, particularly Western Sydney, where mountain biking would be a lovely opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially when we go out to Penrith, that's where I'm thinking of immediately.
Correct.
Penrith Blue Mountains, yeah.
That's right. And look, this symposium was brought about because there's a lot of challenges in that space as well as opportunities. So we're hoping to get all of that on the table. And one is something like council investment in these spaces to see it not just as an economic development or a tourism infrastructure, but a social infrastructure as well.
Absolutely, I agree. That sounds good. Please reach out. I'd be happy to do that.
That'd be great, Anthony. Thank you.
Thanks, Laurie. Something that I've been thinking about, Anthony and Roman, and this is for the wider group as well, is the impact of poverty on inactivity. And you know, we think about the social determinants of health, you know, where we live and where we're born and where we, you know, we work, etc. But poverty levels are on the rise in Australia, particularly for child poverty. And with the work that you do in disadvantaged communities, what are some of the things that you do to try and break down those barriers to ensure that those most in need, you know, get to participate in some of your programs?
So was your question, sorry, particularly around the barriers that they're facing for entry to sport?
It's more whether it's sport, movement, physical activity. You know, the poverty levels are increasing. So it's how you work in community. How are you breaking down some of those barriers to get to make sure those most in need get the support?
I suppose that has to do with a lot with identification and agency support as well. I think when it comes to poverty, this is a great question, which I'm not sure I have the answer to. I think there needs to be a level of government support with that. I feel, and this is a conversation I have offline with Roman a lot, where I think there's so much agencies can do, but when we think about those who are really struggling, those who don't leave their house, those that don't associate with the outside world, how do we help them? How do we grasp them, and how do we let them know about what we're doing? And I think a big part of that is not judging anyone for the background that they come from, not judging anyone about their socioeconomic situation, and just complete inclusion in the program. I think that's one of the most important things, is there needs to be a sense of encouragement and a sense of joy once you actually get there. And then the program becomes a consistent thing that lasts through 10 weeks and helps build the community from the ground up. So I guess that's how I would look at it. But in terms of those facing extreme poverty, it's very difficult to identify them. That's a great question, David. Honestly, when I think about that, the mind really wanders.
Yeah, and this is not something that we're going to solve now, but it's something that I'd like to dig deeper in through the group as one of the, you know, one of the interventions, I think, to get people more active. Anybody else would like to share anything around that in your work or anything else? Jennifer, I thought you might talk about this.
Yeah, just to, I mean, that's the struggle that we have all the time, because our street soccer is set up for people who wouldn't usually have the resources or the connections to join a regular team, and they don't need to, you know, we're very clear, you don't need to commit to coming every week. You can just come when we're there every week, and you can come when and if you can make it. So we try and make sure there's no barrier, as few barriers as possible. But we found what seems to help is engaging other agencies and support workers. So when people can come with somebody that they already trust. So we've been recently working with Wayside Chapel, that they get people who are already in their community drop-in centre, and they hire a go-get, and they all come together to our street soccer. Or we've got nurses who are working in mental health rehab units, who also like get a minibus and make a sort of excursion of it to come to street soccer. And then once people have been introduced by somebody a bit more trusted to them, that they trust in a different sort of sense, then often they just come on their own, and they, you know, after they've been you know, after they've come out of hospital, or they're not using Wayside anymore, they're still coming, because they then, you know, feel comfortable and welcomed. But often it takes that sort of some middle person in between to get that started. So that's what we found has quite helpful in our street soccer programs.
Yeah, beautiful and terrific work you do there. The big issue, Jennifer. So thank you for that. Brilliant. All right, we're just a couple of minutes to go. So any final thoughts from anyone? I just, while you're thinking about that, I just want to take this opportunity to thank Anthony and Roman for putting together that presentation, and all the great work that you do in Western Sydney and in Australia. And what this community practice is all about is illuminating and shining a light on some of the great work that we're doing in Western Sydney, and seeing how we can work more collaboratively together. So really appreciate that. And I think that's just about us.
Can I just let people know our street soccer has changed locations. So instead of being near Westmead Station, we are now closer to Parramatta Station. So not far. We're at Robin Thomas Reserve now. Still every Thursday afternoon from 3 till 5. Feel free to come or send people or tell people about it. But yeah, Robin Thomas Reserve is now our location. Maybe I can send a flyer, David?
Yeah, if anybody wants to share anything, please send it to myself, and we'll circulate that with the minutes as usual and the presentation from Anthony and Roman. And want to thank everybody for your time on this Thursday. And yeah, it's 10:30, so I will let you all go. And yeah, hope to catch up with you all soon. Take care. See you later.